Hello there and welcome to Cordy Creativity. My name is Cordy and this channel is all about drawing with lots of super easy drawing tutorials and sketchbook projects to get you started and warmed up on your sketchbook adventure. In this video, I want to draw a Komodo dragon with you because the other day I went to the zoo and this cute little Komodo dragon just posed for me perfectly, so it needs to be put down on paper. In most of my videos, I draw with pencil, so you're gonna need one of those, and an eraser, big and small. And I also use fine liners in different strengths. Usually 3 different strengths are enough. A thin one, a medium one, and a thick one. But to begin the drawing, we're going to need the pencil first, so grab your pencil and let's get started. Drawing isn't always about copying down exactly what you see. Sometimes it's fun to just exaggerate some bits and pieces. So I'm gonna start just drawing the rough shape of our Komodo dragon, and I really find it funny that he is so muscular and has this sort of like long body but super muscular arms. So I'm gonna exaggerate the length of his body a little bit and make his muscles buff up a little bit as well. So for now, it's just the rough shapes positioning I guess it's paws, I don't know. You let me know in the comments what you call the legs and hands of a Komodo dragon. We're gonna draw those bits first, just where they roughly positioned. It's really important to be rough at this stage first so you get the right position and angle and shape, rough shape. It's not always pretty, but now when we come in, we can do the details. For example, here at the head, we're going to add that characteristic dip in the middle of the head and just shape it a little more than we did in the rough sketch. I also want to emphasize the heaviness of the body a little bit, so I'm going to add a couple of folds in the skin as we come down. And then I already said the length, I made it just a little bit longer just to make it look a little bit sort of more lanky. And then going up here into the tail. I think the tail in my drawing is also a little bit longer than it usually is because, you know, it's fun. I made it swish up a little bit to look a bit more interesting. And I'm gonna let it go behind and up. I think I like that better. That's the other thing that's really nice when you have a rough sketch, a super rough, maybe not perfect looking sketch. You can really see what you want to change. So down here, the leg, I really want to show that it's quite the muscular leg. So I'm suggesting that it's made out of different shapes. So with those little lines going into the shape, you can suggest a little bit foreshortening as well, which we're going to do in the leg here in the front. I'm going to add a couple of lines here underneath his belly to show some skin folds. Now this front leg has quite a bit of foreshortening, so we're going to have to, again, shorten the parts. So instead of having like a long limb, it's almost like 2 circles on top of each other, and then another one that forms the paw or the claw. Actually, it's more of a claw because it has quite the talons actually. So here we go, drawing them sort of curved down, and then a little half moon shape to show the beginning where they come from the hand or the claw down into the actual talons. And then there's a little dip in the center of the Komodo dragon's chest. I think it's formed by muscles as well, so I made it quite pronounced. Now the other arm is stretched out forward again with the talons, and I like to really draw it quite muscly, so giving it a big bump. I guess that's what it would look like. And again, the almost like fingernails here. Here we go. Yeah, that looks dangerous. So let's move up to the face. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of adjusting because the sides of the head are just a bit more flat. They're quite bumpy here, so let's flatten them out a little bit on the other side here as well, because on that flat bit is where the eyes actually sit. They sit quite close to the top of the head and sort of slanted inward, and there's like a little lid on top of them. Very small. Here we go. Yeah. And then the snout dips down and then out and over at the center. And there's the nostrils as well. And the mouth kind of curves up and then down again. And I just thought in the picture, it really looks like he's smiling. Let's have a little look again. Here it is. So here's the picture. He's so cute and smiley. And they're actually quite dangerous animals. But anyway, let's keep drawing. So next, we're going to go down the back towards the tail. I already made the little ridges of skin. I'm going to do another one because he's lifting the tail up. So it's very likely that his skin has creases there. And over here on his chest, there's plenty of more skin folds, and it's always good to remember when we're drawing just with lines, that edge where the light hits a shadow always requires a line. The little fold that is deep in the skin does not get any light, so there will be a shadow falling. So naturally, all the creases and folds in the skin are going to be lines. And the Komodo dragon has these sort of characteristic kind of V-shaped creases down his front. I'm guessing it's muscles as well. So we're going to add those, and then one as well on top of his front leg. And there were also some funny looking kind of scales on the back of the Komodo dragon I saw at the zoo. So we're going to add those too, because the edges of those scales, they don't catch any light. So we're going to draw them in. A little bit of a correction here at the center. Maybe, yeah, here we go. That looks a little better. Now I think we got all the details and texture in place with our pencil. I'm going to move over and use the fine line. I'm going to start out with the 0.3, which is my medium one, to go around all the shapes. But what I will be leaving out is the details in the face and maybe some of the creases. For that, I'm going to be using the thinner one. Let's speed this process up a little bit. Going all around the outside here. And then switching over to my thinnest one. I have mine is 0.05. Getting all the little details in the face and the creases. It's always good to make it thinner first, and then in the end you can go in and make that line a little thicker if you feel like that deserves it or that needs to happen for the eye to catch it the right way. And here are the little scales. I feel like that line underneath that skin crease needs to be a bit thicker, so I'm just switching over to my medium fine liner to get that a bit thicker. I do like that better. Now for going around the outside, I'm going to use my thick fine liner 0.8. That's what it looks like. It kind of pops off the page a little more when the outside is just a little bit more jumping at you. And here we get rid of all the pencil lines. And as a last little detail, I'm going to add the hill that the Komodo dragon is sprawled out on the left and right side. Just some lines, and then maybe a couple of sort of rock shapes. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, let's try to add some more detail. Not too much, so it doesn't take away from our Komodo dragon. Now this is actually where I'm usually done, and I'm leaving you to it to draw it in your very own way. You might have different aspects of the Komodo dragon that you find interesting. I exaggerated the body length and the muscles a little bit, so you might exaggerate something else. Completely up to you. Now, this is my Komodo dragon with color. I picked up a little more green and used watercolor. You might want to choose a completely different medium and maybe go more in a different color direction. Absolutely up to you. I want to show you the steps to get to this one. I just used a couple of layers and washes of watercolor, starting with yellow and green in my little dish. I just picked out a couple of places where the highlight is and then added the green in. For the shadows, I mixed up a darker green. Here's a little swatch for you to see. It's a lot darker than the one I had. Now this is the Komodo dragon with the darkest shadows. Here is the face. I added them underneath the chin as well in all the deep creases. And then here is a bit of a grayish wash. Here's what it looks like. I used that for the very deep creases in the darkest area, also up in the face, and obviously for the little mountain that he sprawled out on. You can see with just a couple of layers of color, actually just 3, you can create quite the cute little Komodo dragon. In fact, you can create whatever it is that you want, and it's always good to warm up before starting a big project. So my project that you find on my channel are all designed for warming up, just getting those creative juices flowing. And they're designed for the absolute beginner. When you really just start out drawing, you can come and join my videos and my little classes to get that first glimpse and the first little tips on how to tackle certain subject. I hope I see you soon for another sketchbook adventure. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Have a fabulous day. Bye bye.